Hey, what's up? It's Joe. Welcome to my 5 Minute Friday for August 30th. So, I sometimes get asked questions about other content creators and quote influencers, maybe people like Zach Wilson or Seattle Data Guy. Um, and people often ask, like, do you hate these guys, or are you guys like enemies? Are you in a rivalry? And I always laugh at this type of a question, but I get asked it often enough. I want to address my thoughts around sort of the nature of this question and really the nature of content and why I'm really enjoying creating educational content and so on. But no, for the record, definitely we are all really good friends, and I think this highlights a key difference between maybe maybe traditional 9 to 5 job thinking and sort of this notion that not everything has to be a zero-sum game, right? So I think when you're talking about things like consulting or, a job, in most cases it is a zero-sum game, right? You get the job or I get the job, but not both of us are getting the job. um, as well as consulting, right? Like you're going to get the gig, I'm going to get it, but we're both not going to get hired for a gig, right? And I think this is the mentality a lot of people have, where it's very much a fixed mindset. Everything is, it's win lose. You get it, I get it, but we both don't, get it. And we both don't grow the pie, so to speak. And so that's the nature, I think, of how a lot of people view the world. But when you think about things like content, your thinking starts shifting a lot. You're talking more of a non-zero sum game, more of a positive sum game, really, where the net result is greater than zero. This means that the content creator wins by getting their content out there. The recipient wins by hopefully learning more at the end of the day. And the thing is, the person consuming the content can get content from multiple sources, right? And this doesn't impact the overall pie. It in fact grows it, right? When we're talking about data engineering content, for example, I'm glad, Seattle Data Guy, aka Ben Rogojan, and Zach Wilson and Joseph Machado and other people are out there, creating great content. It grows the awareness of data engineering as a field and as a discipline. If they weren't doing it, if it was just one person, that wouldn't really help the data engineering field grow. And so, and everyone brings their own perspective to the table, which I think is awesome. Everyone brings their own experiences. And I think that that's what makes content great, is the learner, for example, the person consuming the content, gets a lot of different perspectives, and they can kind of pick and choose, what they like, from each piece of content and from each creator, and that doesn't disrupt the overall ability of that person to learn data engineering, right? And so I think that that's the big difference between a 9 to 5 job and consulting and zero-sum games versus, positive-sum games. When you think about how many books you have at your house, for example, right? I'm wagering that you don't have just one book on a topic. You probably have many books. Why would that be? Because you're trying to get different perspectives and learn a field as well as you can. And to me, that's the beauty of content and education, is you can keep growing the pie infinitely, and it benefits people infinitely. And so I'm really enjoying this move into this. I came from working 9 to 5s for a long time. Nothing wrong with that if you do, by the way. It's I think there's a lot of satisfaction in those kind of jobs. Then when I was in consulting, I think that it's running our data engineering firm, it was just fun. But it's constantly a grind as well. You're always having to compete against other other competitors, other firms. More critically, you're usually competing against the lack of internal momentum within a company that would allow the change that you're supposedly hired to provide. And so, I think once the fundamentals of data engineering came out, and seeing that success, that got me thinking, like, I want to do more of this and less of the zero-sum game grind that, is just, I don't know, it's pervasive, but it's it's a bit exhausting after a while. So anyway, I urge you to think about, are you playing a zero sum game? Or are you playing a positive sum game or a non-zero sum game? And so, nothing wrong with it if you are. If that's what you like to do, go for it. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to offer maybe a different perspective on the types of work you could end up doing, or the types of things you may want to kind of lean into more. Kind of like that, the discussion I had on one-to-one versus one-to-many. At some point, you're going to, you might have the opportunity to affect more than, one person or one company. And as I'm fond of saying, I can affect a lot of companies' data teams without ever having to step foot in the building, through this podcast, through the books, and through the various writings, right? It's cool seeing that level of impact, without ever meeting people, right? But the thing is, other people do this too, right? Countless authors that you read, whether you're talking Ralph Kimball, Bill Inman, all the content creators I mentioned, but it's like, and everyone in between, Martin Kleppman and so forth. But it's like everyone has a positive impact on, the thinking and the actions of, practitioners in their craft. And anyway, I think that's pretty awesome, right? So anyway, just understand if you're playing a zero sum game or positive sum game, and that's about it, really. I'm not going to be doing a newsletter this weekend because it's Labor Day, and I don't know, want to go spend time with the family. But newsletter will be back next week. Some great podcasts coming up. Also got a big podcast with Andrew Ng. We'll be talking about data engineering and data-centric AI. That's on September 16th. That'll be streamed live on the Monday Morning Data Chat, which is at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. So be there. That'll be awesome. Definitely honored to have guests like Andrew show up and show support for data engineering. So anyway, I hope that you have a great weekend. And if you're in the United States, I hope you have a great Labor Day weekend. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.